I mean, it's how the government has tried to encapsulate what they want to try to do, which is essentially make sure that whatever part of the UK you live in, you have access to the same kind of jobs, the same kind of education, the same kind of decent bus service, the same kind of access to opportunity, if you want to use a more sort of philosophical word. And in terms of trying to do that, there will be pieces of legislation around further education, around what happens with the health service. Also specific to the pandemic, there'll be, catch-up education for children who've lost out in this last extraordinary year. But all of these things are things, particularly if you think about infrastructure, access to opportunity or skills, they're things that politicians have talked about forever and ever and ever. There's a lot of very familiar concepts and language if you look at further education, for example. Lots of stuff that you could have actually taken straight from the era when Justine Greening was a cabinet minister for education talking about skills, or Theresa May was talking about a skills revolution. So a lot of this stuff is very familiar. What is different, of course, is that the day-to-day emergency of the pandemic is fading, and you have a government now with a thumping majority who, in theory, should be able to go ahead and deliver a lot of these things, many of which were in the Conservative manifesto, if you think about extra police or a new immigration system or whatever. But as ever in politics, actually, well, I suppose to use Boris Johnson's phrase, getting things done is 100 times harder than having the Queen read out the list in Parliament or standing on the steps of Downing Street and actually promising voters that you're going to do something. Even with a huge majority, the technicality and the relentlessness that is required actually to get all these things done and get all these things in Parliament is a million miles away from actually promising them rhetorically.